Okay, so right off the bat, I know this video is going to get a lot of hate, but just hear me out. Now, overrated doesn't mean a player is not good. Even someone as good as Mbappe can be overrated if you drop him into the GOAT debate, because he hasn't done enough yet. Not because he eventually won't, or because he isn't a good enough player, but just because the level he's being compared to isn't accurate. In my opinion, the most overrated player in the Premier League is Erling Haaland. I know, bombshell, right? So for those of you who haven't clicked off this video yet, let me walk you through my reasons. I believe he's overrated because he is already being talked up to the levels of Shearer and Henry, dare I say, even Cristiano Ronaldo. Yes, his goal-scoring stats are incredible, but there is more than meets the eye. Haaland is thus far a flat-track bully. There, I said it. Let's look at the stats. 8 goals in 4 games versus Wolves, 6 goals in 2 games versus Luton Town, and 5 goals in 3 games versus Burnley, Forest, Fulham. And now, in contrast, 2 goals in 6 games versus Arsenal, 3 goals in 7 games versus Liverpool, and 0 goals in 4 games versus Real Madrid. Suddenly scoring 30 to 25 goals a season doesn't seem as impressive now, right? What's the point of all these goals if they aren't going to be against the cream of the crop? You might say, hey, goals win you games, right? How can you shit on someone scoring? I think we can all agree that City would have won those games against the minnows regardless of Haaland's goals. 2-0 or 5-0, you still get 3 points. His record against the big teams isn't dreadful, but not quite like the record against the minnows of the league. Yes, I know Real Madrid isn't in the Premier League, but I brought them up to make a point, because Haaland has played against them in consecutive years in the knockout stages of the Champions League, yet not scored a single goal. He was marked out of both games, and that, I believe, is his biggest weakness.
But the levels of his general play is so poor, and not just today. I think his laying stuff off, living headers or whatever it might be. In terms of front of goal, he's best in the world. But for his general play, for such a player, it is so poor. Not just today, I think he has to improve that. He's almost like a League Two player.
He is way too team dependent. He can't do what a Thierry Henry or Suarez would do, where they would drop deep, pick up the ball, go on a mazy run, dribble past defenders, and score a worldie. Just watch Haaland's goal highlights. It's mostly all shots from inside the box. And don't get me wrong, his finishing in the box is deadly. But how does the ball get into the box? Service. And if his team is struggling against the top opposition, Haaland is not the man to bail them out. Look at how lost he was against Arsenal and Madrid last season. Haaland has 0 goals in the Champions League semi-finals and final. 0 goals in the FA Cup semi-final and final. So even though he is the quickest to 50 goals in the Premier League, how impressive is that really, now that we've given context to these stats? And hey, he may improve his game. After all, it's only been 2 seasons, and he might make a mockery of this video in the coming years. But at this moment, as we stand, I believe he is highly overrated. Until he doesn't add more to his game and step up against the big teams, he can't be considered as one of the best strikers, at least in my books. Think I'm being unfair? Well, I'll sign out with this clip of Thierry Henry. Make of it what you will.
Erling Haaland. He has 93 shooting in this year's game. Now, Thierry, at your best, do you think you would have had higher than 93?
The ratings for me, what are you talking about finishing?
So they basically take the average really of different scores. So finishing is one of them, long shots is one of them, shot power is one of them as well too. Positioning, I believe, is also one of them.
It depends, you have to give a box player like Erling Haaland a lot of credit to what he does, but if you step out of the box, it becomes a different game. Precision comes in. The power of the shot comes in. It's not about positioning, it's not about the help of your teammates, how they put the ball for you to finish. Can you finish from outside of the box? So it's different, but 93 is more than well deserved for him. I mean, it's about right. I always give a lot of credit for people that can score also from outside of the box, and then you can clearly see what they're doing, where they're bending it, where they're shooting, how they make the guy dance before they score.